Hey all, so we are bringing back a type of episode this week that we launched a couple years ago. Did a few of these types of episodes, but honestly, it didn't catch on probably because of capacity. And that's the episode's called From the Field, where we are out doing our thing, doing our work, and we're having a great conversation. And so we grab our phones and turn on voice memo. And we found that we would forget. We would be out doing the work, doing training, having an amazing time, and literally be so invested in the conversation or experience we were having that we'd forget to record it. And that does make sense. So we kind of didn't prioritize these from the field episodes. But this past weekend, Jess Gannon and I went to a stop, one of the stops on a book tour. And this is a book we both really like. This is a program and method we both really like. And we've discussed it before on the podcast. And that is To Be Magnetic. And we do have a discount code for their program if it resonates with you too. But basically, it's neural manifestation. It's using the brain to heal past programming, past stress and traumas that are keeping us from our authenticity. And when we work and live and create from our authenticity, then it's almost kind of like magic how life begins to fall into place. I love how structured these, their techniques and their training is, just like YFFR, where it's basically a formula. Do this, this, and this. You're healing past programming, inner child wounds. You're doing shadow work. You are expanding what you see in your life so you can see everything that's possible. Anyway, so we have used this technique, not only personally, but professionally as we set goals for YFFR. Who is YFFR authentically? What do we want to do authentically? And from there, it's super easy to filter out projects that we don't want to waste our time on so that we're super hyper focused on our ultimate goal that excites us, that fires us up. So that is who we went to go see. And when we went to see the author of this book and the founder of this program, they're a few steps ahead of us in business too. So it really is expansive to see what could be in YFFR's future and what we're trying to build. So we learned a lot there as well. We were very expanded in how they put on events. And so Jess and I started just having these, aha ping moments right afterwards as we're walking down the street, and would just hit us like we need to record our stream of consciousness conversation. So what you're about to hear, don't worry, it's edited by our lovely producer, Maya Lucas. But you are about to hear 2 days of Jess and me having organic conversations about what we're learning. We went to an amazing yoga practice, really in alignment with how we train with YFFR. We learned a lot from this teacher, so we debrief on that. So basically, you're witnessing our debrief and ways that we're going to start incorporating what we discovered into YFFR, so that we're a sustainable, thriving, rich, effective, impactful organization that we just absolutely love being part of. And as you're going to hear in this episode, we're not only part of it, it's part of us. We are going to break down this and eliminate this illusion that we are separate from our jobs or careers, but it's in our bones, and what we bring to the table makes YFFR who it is. And anyway, so you're going to hear us talk through it, and hopefully you get some nuggets to apply to your own life, or to your work, or you can see how it's developing YFFR. So To Be Magnetic is the name of the organization, of the company. The book that Lacey Phillips, the founder, just put out is called How to Manifest. If you're interested, we will put links in the show notes. or you can just let this info wash over you and see if you have any aha moments that hit from it. So please enjoy. After a long time, we're back to From the Field. Welcome to Yoga for First Responders on Air, where we break down yoga, neuroscience, resilience, and public safety in a manner that's authentic, educational, and most importantly, entertaining and lighthearted. I'm YFFR's founder, Olivia Mead. As a yoga instructor and neuroscience enthusiast, I'm passionate about supporting first responders and anyone looking to improve their overall human performance. Each week, we'll dive into a new topic and often bring on expert guests to share their insights and experiences. But we'll also keep it real and share our own stories and struggles along the way. So whether you're a first responder or seeking to master the science of mental and physical resilience, this podcast is your ultimate guide to triumph over life's challenges with unbreakable strength and unwavering fortitude. By pressing play, your training has begun.
All right, well, let's just do a little summary of what we were kind of discovering. So cute down there, too. Which was basically how we're both kind of having these pangs that we have isolated and separated and compartmentalized YFFR, our life and authenticity, our motherhoodness, like all in these different boxes.
Yeah, everything's been separate. Like I feel like I've had to okay, well, this is me as YFFR, this is me as a mom, this is me as a wife. But what we heard here and what we felt, I think, was that they're all you can't separate them. Like,
yeah, it's all your brand.
Be successful and bring ourselves into our work, like we try to anyways. Like, we have to integrate them together. So,
and one of the examples of this I was giving Jess, and this is actually what I wrote down. And by the way, we're walking away from the event right now. That's why you can hear the traffic of the self-driving cars, which is nuts. Is that, and I had written this down right when she brought this up too, so it was kind of like this simultaneous ping, is that I kept looking at YFFR as my job, my 9 to 5, my job. And in our society, we're kind of told like, oh, Monday through Friday, thank God it's Friday. Like, you know, you work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. That's what you do, right? And, you know, one time you suggested, someone else did too, like, oh, why don't you get the YFFR logo as a tattoo? And I was so against it because I was like, why would you put your, like, corporate job, you know what I mean? Like, why would you put your logo? And then I was like, wait, no, it's part of my personal brand.
Yeah, and for me, like, the reason why it came up for me too is, like, with tattoos, I feel like the tattoos kind of tell my story, right? Like,
right.
And so YFFR really did change the trajectory of my life. You know, I was working in a corporate job and I thought that's what I would do forever, but I didn't feel valued enough. I didn't feel like my talents were being used. And then YFFR, and like I took this huge leap of faith and signed up for instructor school without asking for the time off, nor like the making sure I had the funds to do it, but I just did it. And magically, like, my boss approved the time off to be paid time off, not my actual PTO. And then, you know, a few years later, I was able to see that because I wasn't being valued, I left that job. And now going from just a YFFR instructor to now Chief Operations and Integration Officer.
Yes.
Like, it really has changed the trajectory of my life, so that is a huge part of my story.
Right.
So that's why I would, you know, for me, to put that on my body, it would be...
Regardless of what happens from here, it was still part of your story.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and I'm kind of like, also, I realize now that YFFR has become and is a vehicle for our gifts.
Yes.
It's not the job, right?
Yeah.
And it's also the ping you and I have gotten for a while and have acted on too, is that you don't work when you're inspired to work and that you get the job done. it doesn't have to be Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, because I love what I do. If I'm inspired on a Saturday at 5 a.m., I'll put in work then.
Right.
If I'm tired on Wednesday, I won't. Like, day is just day.
Right.
And I'm not afraid to bring my work home because it is life. It is. And same thing with motherhood too. It's almost like I thought being a mother meant like homemaker or something. Like subconsciously.
Like you had to put the other passions down. Like,
like you have to be a mom or you have to be whatever. And also when I started my Substack, because I also kind of, like Lacey was saying, wanted a place to express something that wasn't always YFFR.
Right, yeah.
But then I realized everything I express is an element of YFFR,
right.
Because it is the life I'm living.
So it all integrates,
yeah. And so what I realized was like, oh, my personal, and then I was like, what do I call my Substack? Should I have a whole new logo and this or that? What's my personal brand? And I was like, no, your personal brand is YFFR is a huge part of it. So on my Substack, my little title is in the same fonts and colors. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you've said the same thing like now a few times this past year actually, because remember when you started offering yoga classes at the candle shop and you were trying to, you were calling it Om Yoga and you were putting out a new newsletter and stuff like that, like, and you realized then too that it keeps coming back.
No, that was a huge thing where I was like, no, this doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel aligned. And so what I was trying to do was open it up to really anyone. And so then I was like, okay, it's YFFR community classes. Like YFFR is offering these community classes that's open to anyone. And it has not been a problem. Right. No one is like, oh, am I not allowed to come in because it's called Yoga for First Responders. So I think it's time for me to embrace, like not push YFFR away as separate from me, something I made, a job. Like, it's okay to integrate it, and it's okay to integrate being a mother and
even into that too.
Yes, even into that. Yeah, and so another thing is you were saying that the kind of words that kept coming up for you in the DI was leader and teacher.
Yeah, and I think since the instructor retreat, so when we were in, are we in Santa Fe?
Yes.
Santa Fe, I learned about my human design.
Yes.
And so I had this big revelation when I learned about my human design. And is this okay to go into, even though it gets too woo-woo?
Yeah, it's fine. Do it, because we can always cut anything.
Yeah. So I learned a piece of me, the way I am wired, is supposed to be, it's considered non-emotional, but I've had this story my whole life about how emotional I am, how I'm always crying, I'm getting upset about things, I take it too personal, things like that. And then when I read that I was built to be non-emotional, I was like, what? Like, that's not who I am. And then I was like, wait a second, I've always been told I'm an emotional person.
Right.
And so it always felt like a bad thing to be emotional, because I was too emotional. I'm too much.
Yeah.
And so then when I saw that, it was like a freedom almost, like, no, like I'm not built to be emotional. I feed off the energy of other people. And so if I can stand in my worth and have this different energy about myself, then I can have a confidence that wasn't there before. So all of a sudden at the next instructor school, I taught like at least 8 hours of classes.
Yep.
And with like no problem. It felt so like, I guess like a leader and like a teacher. Like I really just came into myself, I think, as a leader and a teacher within that space.
Yeah.
And so I think just now finding those ways of continuing that is,
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
No, I mean, Eric also saw the transformation in you at 037.
Yeah.
and just said like how much you owned the space you were standing in.
Yeah.
And I noticed that too, like at the retreat when you were teaching about the new portal. It just was like this was your home, and there was not even, it wasn't even something I was it just was happening. Like it's, you know, it was and I think we do get covered up by what we're told. You are this, you are that, and we're covered up by that, and the gift is underneath, right? So we have to like take away what we've been told personally, what we've been told by society, what we've been told by our parents, what we've been told by, you know.
Yeah. I've always been this person who just like kind of was trying to be in the background and not be like in the forefront, but I am finding like I have this I don't know, these things to share with people, and this desire to grow and to like help others grow too. So
yeah. Well, I think I like what Courtney said about like you are keeping your gift from people, like, which is a disservice.
And that's what also who's the speaking coach? TK. She said the same thing though.
Yeah.
She said if you can't stand up here and speak with confidence, that's a disservice. You're potentially you're not giving this gift of YFFR to those people who need it. Like if you can't teach it because you're nervous, then you're not giving this gift.
Well, it's almost like you have to get yourself out of your own way for a bigger purpose that's happening, instead of, it's like almost selfish. Like it's selfish to be thinking so much only about yourself, that you get too nervous to actually have your true gift put out there. And the word that kept coming up for me during that DI was producer. And when I say producer, I was thinking about that word. And you produce something. You make something happen that wasn't there before. And I was, I would have words like creative, innovator, and those are still part of it. That's part, but that word producer also embodies, then I think of like a Broadway show producer. The producer comes in, they're the money. They look nice, they're the big idea. No one would be standing here if it weren't for that person.
Yes.
So it's like, so not only am I creating and innovating, I'm birthing something.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
what that means though is that I have to take care of myself in order to make that time where I'm being creative and producing something super sacred.
Yeah.
So,
and I've always seen that in you, that you are that, you are the, when you walk into the room at an instructor school, people stop what they're doing and look to you for guidance. Like you are the producer, you are the creator, and I think it's just coming into that for yourself,
right,
and treating yourself that way.
That's the thing, it's treating myself that way, right? So when I buy like I keep thinking about bed sheets. Like I want really nice bed sheets so I'm sleeping so well so that I can do my producing job.
Yes.
And little things like that in the past my block was
spend the money on that.
Right. The block was that if it's not like a need, then it's better saving that money. We keep stopping whenever there's a self-driving car because we can't believe they exist.
Well, and they start to move and you're like...
They move and you're like, is it going to hit me? It's like if the robots turn against us, like... So that it wasn't a good investment to get yourself a facial.
Right.
It wasn't a good investment to like whatever. And the way I feel teaching when my toenails are done versus not is so minimal, but it's this,
it matters though.
it's an energy that can actually, like we talk about this with shooting, right? The tiniest change in your hand position, maybe a centimeter, will make a 1 foot accuracy gap down there, down the range. So, someone's in that one. So, if I make a tiny choice, like getting my nails done or buying the more expensive sheets, the result, the impact is going to be 10 times that.
Right. Because you're telling yourself you're worth it.
Right.
And we're building our self-worth, and we're coming into ourselves, and that's going to allow us to do our best work.
Yeah. And also, not only we are worth it, but the gift we've been giving, the gift we have is worth it.
Yes.
You know? And it's like you're honoring your gifts by getting all the other bullshit out of the way so that your gift can stand strong, you know? I think, like, she was talking about the cringe mountain thing.
Yeah.
And I think it's like when I first started to test the waters of being the lady boss producer, but before I had done any work on authenticity and self-worth, it probably came across different than I wanted it to, maybe a little aggressive or whatever.
Yeah.
But I was met with a lot of, she's a bitch, who the hell does she think she is? And that actually made me get really, really small. And wanting to separate YFFR from me, because YFFR was, I had to be this lady boss that people didn't like.
Yep. For them to pay attention.
Right, exactly. But now I'm commanding the space in a different way. And also, I don't care. Like, if people said, who the hell does she think she is, I wouldn't even care. Because if I'm in my authenticity and it feels right, then it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. So part of the exercise, I don't know if it was just in the DI or whatever, but try to remember what you were into and that kind of made you weird or fringy,
and Lacey called it like
the fringe,
or those pure things that you liked to do that were maybe considered weird before you knew that it was weird.
Right,
to, like,
right.
other people.
And I was trying to actually decipher what was authentic and what my mom told me to do. Because, if someone else that I grew up with asked it about me, they'd be like, oh, Olivia loved to dance. She was a dancer. No, my mom put me in ballet class. And I'm not and you know what, to be honest, I don't know if that's the right description. I love to dance.
Yeah.
The dancing I did, ballet, showgirl, it was so strict and disciplined. I do love discipline, and I love training, and I remember saying that I loved the training of ballet, like I love the discipline of it more than like performing it. And I also get so much out of moving my body.
Well, that's what I kept coming back to as well. Like, I kept thinking about how when I was a kid, I loved gymnastics, I loved dancing, and I often refer to yoga as the adult version of dancing for me. It's just like it gives me so much joy, and like it's the movement that I really enjoy and I need. Yeah. Because and so I don't know. It's just interesting to think about it in those way, like how Jessica was saying about how can we integrate those little pieces of our inner child into our everyday.
Yeah, what does it mean? Like deciphering, and so I was thinking for myself, I was in ballet, but that's not what I'm, the ballet part, the dancing part. But I remember starting businesses. Like, I remember in kindergarten, saying, this was my big business idea. I'm gonna start a fruit stand where I buy fruit from the grocery store and resell it on the side of my street. On the side of And I was putting together a business proposal. I had paperwork, so it's so what I'm realizing, I loved playing pretend and imagination. So again, I loved creating something that wasn't there. Yeah. I remember thinking I wanted to direct a movie or this or that, and that's when I started to come up with that concept of producer, is I'm producing something that was not there before.
Yeah.
you know?
You're filling a gap too. Like it's like you see a need. It's like Sarah Blakely. Like she was like, I can't find this product that I need.
Yeah.
And so she created it. Like, that's what you figured out. There's a need for something, and you're creating it.
And I'm also gonna say this goes in the rock bottom thing. How the rock bottom, like, you know, speeds you towards what you need because you're not doing it yourself.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't think that these big creative aha moments come from comfort.
No.
So YFFR came because I joke, I was like, it was a spite organization, but I was pissed. I was pissed at how I was being treated as a yoga teacher. I was pissed at how yoga was being, you know, put out in our Western culture. And so I was like, okay, I want to teach authentic yoga, and who needs the authentic tool? And that was military and first responders and stuff like that. So it came from a fire. And, you know, the same thing, like the rock bottom I had when I had to move in with my parents. If I hadn't had that happen, I would not be in Albuquerque.
Yeah.
No way.
Like now, look at your life. It's so
right.
It's so you.
Yeah. And so the universe was literally like, girl, if I don't do this for you, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Same thing with my divorce.
Yeah.
Or I would even say, like, I had to get to Iowa.
Yeah.
So how was I going to get to Iowa? I had to meet a guy and marry him who would be transferred to Iowa.
Otherwise you wouldn't have left Vegas.
No. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's why I think, that sort of discomfort is like, I don't know, a catalyst or something. And
well, that's one thing, like, you know, when you're in Mexico and, like, I had, like, I told you, I was like, I kind of feel like I'm at a rock bottom, and, like, and so on the outside, everything looks great for me, right? Like, I have a nice family, we have a nice house, my husband has a great job, you know, I really love my work, and I somehow balance it between being a mom and all this stuff. But then there's this piece that keeps coming up for me with money, and it's just like, and it's affecting my relationship with my husband, and then now I'm like connecting the dots that, like, it's like, if I can build my self-worth and feel like I deserve these things because I'm worthy, not just because I make this much money, whatever, then it will feel like the partnership between me and my husband will improve. And my self-worth and around money will also, like, building my self-worth around that too is going to affect the financial situation of YFFR at the same time.
Exactly.
And so I'm finding, like, this connection that I never realized was there before. Like,
I just had a ping. I just had a download.
Yeah.
You know, the connection of love and money, right?
Yeah.
And that's always been hard for me to wrap my head around. I do understand the connection of if you're blocked in one, you're blocked in the other, and similar things in each, but I kind of never really, but it just landed for me, Jess. You and I are finally almost surrendering to loving our jobs. And that might have been the key for the money to come in. Mm-hmm. If we were treating our jobs as an obligation we loved, but still like a job job, and not really saying, no, this is my heart and my soul and my love, then if we're starting to really tune into that, and because she said it's not just relationship, romantic,
too. It can be like
your love to your work, you know,
and
it's like, then if we're healing our love to the work, then it's could possibly open the portal for money too. I mean, TBD, but but honestly, money, Jess, is circulating us, like orbiting us, because we've been having meetings with people who are multimillionaires and who want to support the work, the kind of work that we do.
And I wish that, like, Eric was telling me this or this, and I'm like, well, have I figured out, have I, you know, like, that was the same day that I just had this really big thing happen where I am now able to start building my self-worth because I figured something out. And so it's like, well, now I know the next time Eric says something, like, I know it's going to be, like, huge for us. Like, it's going to be, this person wrote us a check to support our mission. And we're going to be okay. Like,
That's the thing, too, is, like, when I had that pain to let go and trust the universe, and then our lawsuit, you know, my personal lawsuit thing settled. And it's kind of like surrendering to this huge faucet of money coming in.
And I don't know why it's like finally like clicking on all these things, because every other time I've done that in my life, the things have come through. you know, when I stopped really looking for a partner, and I didn't date a lot, but when I was dating to find a partner, and I was like, okay, well, if I don't find someone by the time I'm 30, then I'll figure out the kid thing on my own. When I said that to myself and I just relaxed about it because I had a plan, boom, I met Tom.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, this is it. And then when we decided, like, okay, if we don't get, like, we're going to go ahead and start trying to adopt instead of having babies on our own because it's not working, boom, I got pregnant.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just like,
that letting, so that surrender
that
box
relief.
they had, I actually surrendered, this is like, it was going to make me cry, is I surrendered another daughter. I surrendered, the reason I'm saying daughter is our embryos are girls, like we know that. And I'm surrendering her. I do believe she's there. I do believe the spirit's there. And I also believe that the universe and her spirit know more than I do. So basically, I'm surrendering captaining that ship, you know? And if she doesn't come through at all, I know she still exists in the world. And I'm really starting to truly, honestly, not just say, yeah, I'm fine with it, like really, really feel that way. And not even for the hope that, oh, if I surrender, she'll come through. I'm curious what happens in life now that I'm surrendering it, but I really am feeling like, okay, I don't know, something's shifted.
Yeah, well, and did you hear when Lacey said, like, you know, she was talking about her daughter and all the work she's going to have to do because of all the work Lacey's doing and this and that. And she said, well, but she chose me, you know, and I was just like, that, like, hit me so hard because...
You're the perfect one for her.
And, like, because Owen, you know, he is so similar to me, and I get nervous about him having to go through the same things, like, just mentally, like, and it's just like, no, he wouldn't have chosen me if that wasn't a path
a contract,
a path that he could handle, you know, and so, like, you know, that's a really big thing to think about, but, like, it's fine, like, somehow it brings comfort, like, it's
and Lacey also said all of the stuff in her life, all of her rock bottoms is what led to TBM happening, right?
Yeah.
And so all of your lore, did I tell you the new word for trauma that I didn't even tell you this?
I don't think so.
Okay, I'm going to do a quick cast on it, folks, so TBD, or stay tuned, I should say, but, so my friend Jessie told me that her kids, who are like 18 and 14, I think, said, like, oh, Mom, that's just your lore. So basically, instead of like L-O-R-E, so instead of that's your trauma, isn't it sexier and more empowering to call it lore?
Because I feel like lore is like another word for a story, right? Like, would you say? Yeah. Yeah, and so it is.
It's what makes you you. So instead of like, I have trauma, you all of a sudden you have a shield and you have a sword, and because every hero has their lore.
Well, it's just like we were saying before, like it's part of our story, it's who we are, and like we're never gonna get rid of that core wound or that core thing about, like, it's just who we are.
And it gets approached in different angles, and you have to approach it in different angles, you know? Speaking of kids and stuff, we actually had this conversation with a couple TBMers beforehand about how when our kids have a little troublesome thing at school, how it brings up so much inner child stuff. And I had to remind myself, so my daughter said that someone at school, I mean, these are 3 and 4 year olds, so, but like, said like, I don't want to play with you right now or something. And I said, how did that make you feel? And she said, not well. It was so cute. But my insides turned upside down because I remember that feeling and I just wanted to die. Now, I look back and Aurelia's on to the next thing. She's on the next thing, didn't affect her, but I love that she was like, I know how it made me feel, but she didn't internalize it and she wasn't codependent with what's happening around her. No, and so I said to myself, hey, be very careful to not put your inner child wounding on her. Let her have her own experience and just hold space for it. So very interesting that that's what's going to be what we're going into at the end of the year. And I want to talk about for a second, like, we're recording this, everyone, because we're real-time processing, but we were like this, we want to record it for the YFFR podcast. And, you know, as you can hear, something that, and this is really bringing just in my, like, personal life into the podcast, but as we've just been saying, sorry guys, if you're into YFFR, you're into Jess and Olivia and Eric and the rest of the team, you know what I mean? Because we're part of it. We're part of the makeup of it.
Right.
And although the protocol really does not have any woo-woo stuff, I will say that TBM is rooted in neuroscience.
Yep.
And so that's one of the reasons I like it. But we do talk about the human design and some astrology and stuff, and we are not saying this is part of YFFR protocol. We're saying this is our personal journey, which is what is outputting the YFFR stuff. Yeah. And it may resonate with you guys too.
Yeah, it's not like we're saying that you're going to need to look up your human design or figure out what your sign is or blah blah blah. Like it's how we are growing as people, which will affect the brand.
Yeah.
But it's always gonna be rooted in this traditional yoga that we're never gonna.
Yeah.
That's just who we are. So.
And to bring it back to YFR though. Mm-hmm. People who go into public safety, a lot of times generalizing here, but what they've discovered is they have some childhood shit that they have wanted to almost be the savior of themselves, be the hero of themselves. So I'm going to go help other people the way I wish I had been helped. And this could be all subconscious, and not 100%.
Right, not everyone's going to have that story, yeah.
But it's all of us, and this I'll die on this hill, is we're all running from the gasoline, the engine of our inner child wounding. That's what motivates us. And so that, I believe, is truth. And perhaps why, if you're listening, became a first responder or married one or this or that. I knew that I needed more structure in my life growing up, which I didn't have. I had structure in ballet class, but day-to-day family stuff wasn't too structured, and so I really gravitate towards a militant way of training because I like that kind of structure, So TBM dives in on a neuroscience level to your inner child, to your shadow, strips away any societal programming to find out who your essence is. And what if people actually fought fire and kept the public safe and enforced the law from a place of authenticity in their gifts?
Yeah.
Yeah. There was Commander Varela. I'm going to tag you in this. Make sure you listen. But Sam Varela from Castle Rock Police Department, who huge, supporter of YFFR, and just love that guy. And he was saying how he believes, this was a few years ago, so I'm paraphrasing obviously, but it was something about the female police officer. Okay. And how that is truly the role, is almost this maternal, gentle but firm caretaker. Like, everyone associates law enforcement with dudes, but it's actually a more maternal role of caring for your city, keeping people safe, and yes, disciplining when things are going awry, And so what if everyone brought their personal gifts to public safety? Like Eric knows that he wasn't the brawny guy, he was the brains behind the operation. He put himself in a commanding officer position. Yes, thank you. So that he could critically think, and then all the guys who had the power could go, lift the heavy things or whatever. So I don't know. It's the same thing like when I went through Fire Academy and someone actually taught me how to drag bodies and how to do roof overhaul, or overhaul the whole thing, I should say, as a woman, and using my center of gravity and stuff, and everything changed. So anyway, that's the tie-in to YFFR, I think. And also, guys, like, we want this business to sustain for you, and so we actually have to do our own inner work to make the business work.
Side note, it's been 7 years since I attended YFFR instructor school this week, so
I guess congrats.
Today,
it's your anniversary.
So, I know. And but I was looking back at the memories that popped up on my phone, and one of them was me at Indy Fire learning how to throw ladder, and I was in gear, so like the pants were like getting in my way and I couldn't squat down, and like so I was like learning how to use my body in a different way and things like that. And just, I don't know, it's just a fun memory that popped up.
Well, and that's body movement too. I think like what I loved about Fire Academy was having to solve problems with my body. You know, like get out of this space with your breath, with your body, with your, and I always did really well on the things that had to do with like moving through slats and confined spaces and stuff, because I had such a body awareness already that like the captain was showing me a maneuver, and by the time he was done like starting to show me, I'd already gotten through the slats using the correct maneuver.
Right.
But I saw it, and because I know choreography and I know stuff, I was like, oh, I see exactly what you want me to do. And I'm going to do it, and I did it. And that's the discipline of dancing, is just like with military, do this. And then the dancer does it, and do it like this.
I think that's why I also like resonated and did well with dance and like, and the style of YFFR TT and things like that, because it's not, there's not gray areas. It's like you do this or you do this. Like it's not like, and I am very much a black and white person. I do not like gray. I don't like that space for questions.
Yeah. Well, and we give options for scalability, for personal capacity. But we also put that structure in place because only, let's imagine you have a blank canvas and you're told to draw something. You would go like, oh my God, I don't even know. But what if I said you can only use circles and the color blue? Like when you're given structure, you can get creative and weird and da-da-da-da. And so structure allows you a container to like grow in, you know? Okay, so in the shower this morning, I was thinking about money coming in and manifestations coming in, and what it felt like was an avalanche, right? Like an avalanche, like the amount of abundance that's possible and it's starting to trickle in is an avalanche. And previously, I wasn't strong enough to hold the avalanche, and I would have gotten caught up and rolled away. And now I'm feeling, like I'm strong enough for everything to go over me, you know? So I'm like, okay. And so, because I started to feel a little, you know how the one gal was saying, like, is everything going to be taken from me? How I describe it is like with manifesting, that I'm starting to stand up on a surfboard. And you know, as soon as you get your footing, like you fall. Like when I did stand-up paddleboard yoga stuff, you get up, you get your footing, and the next thing you know, you're in the water. So I was like, okay, I'm getting my footing. I hope I don't fall. And I just said to myself, no, stand strong, stand strong. You have been overtaken by that and you haven't been ready for the avalanche. But it's like, you know. In 1 year from now, if we are not fucking talking about our big-ass 6-figure bank account, yes, we're great, or our 7-figure bank account, I'm going to be pissed, because we're in a good spot.
We're in a good spot. Emotionally, we're ready for the good things to come through.
Yeah.
For and for ourselves.
And for ourselves, yeah. I think we've done some good work, and it's going to start to ramp up. So, I had another ping, by the way. With the producer thing kept coming up, is Arient Productions, where we actually do our own documentary. Nowadays, with phones, take tons of footage, we interview different people, we map it out, we bring on an editor, and we could make our own documentary. Eric's cousin is a firefighter at the same department that Eric's dad was a chief at. Okay. And he actually, and his cousin asked Eric if he wanted to do a podcast with him, like two firefighters talking. Yeah. I'm like, why don't we produce it by Arient?
Right. Yeah.
And we could self-publish some books. So basically, literally producing even media projects, you know? Like, we're young. They're like, Oprah didn't even, she wasn't anything in our ages yet. Really? Yes, I will look it up. Well, I'll look it up and get back to you, but the point is by the time we're ready to retire, in 20 years, imagine what kind of empire that we've created and could sell. So I think we could do a little documentary. I think we could do a book tour like this. And the thing is if we hire the people, then we're the event producers.
Right. Yes.
We're just hiring the people to put it in place. So anyway, that's what I was kind of thinking too. Like, the sky's the limit.
It really is. What do we want to do?
Yeah. And what do we feel worthy of doing? Hi, I'm back. We looked it up. Oprah was 32. Which is fine, but I will say, you and I also had to get married and have kids.
Yeah.
And
we chose to.
No, but what I'm saying is that was part of the thing.
Right.
And I had to do it twice. The married part, at least. So that takes the 8 years out. And now we're starting. So Jess just was worried about our ice cream. And like, if she only wanted one bite, it would be okay in our fridge. Here's something that I realized, and I talked to Eric about, and it's about leftovers.
Yeah.
I don't want to take leftovers home anymore.
Yeah.
Because leftovers are like, I have to have food for tomorrow. I paid for this food and I have to have it. And by me leaving the leftovers tells myself subconsciously, good food is always available. You don't need to keep this.
Yeah.
You know? So basically, if you got that and had one bite, who the fuck cares?
Yeah.
So we just took class at Suka Yoga in Austin. And like I told the teacher, it was a real sadhana, like a real practice.
Yeah.
You know? Which you don't find a lot. And reminded me a lot of how we teach.
Yeah, I haven't had a class like that in so long, because I think it's like we teach like that, but we don't find it in a lot of places.
And basically, it's really practicing something versus just, like, one thing she said, I want to remember some things, and one thing she said was the asana, or the physical practice. We're not doing yoga to master the asanas, we're doing the asanas to master ourselves, you know? So there's lots of breath work involved, lots of specificity in movement focused on joints. And
yeah, that was interesting to me, like the imagery along, like, with the
breath
parts of the body, like moving the breath with imagery to different places. And I feel like that's like, that could be really valuable when practicing like proprioception. You know, like, it's interesting.
like imagining breathing in from your like lower left lung to your upper whatever, but like really imagining your inside rather than your outside, which is, and like moving the lung this way or that way. It reminded me of so many things that my teacher has said that I've almost like forgotten.
Yeah.
So it's so valuable to find, we all need our teachers.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's why lineage is so important, you know? Yeah. A lot of people forget about that or just don't know it. You know?
Everyone has a teacher that the yoga philosophy, or hatha at least, you go back to, study with, and then go live life. And I feel called right now to like practice more myself. You know?
Yeah. She'll cut out whatever.
Okay.
But it's just like, it's so weird, like the connections between you and I like, I don't know. It's like, this is very woo, but like, I feel like we were like
sisters
or twins in a previous life. Is that too weird?
No.
Because I'm like, I felt what you felt. I swear to God. Like, I
just got
twisted
chills.
and I was just like, at the same time as you did. You were like, whoa, and I was like, whoa. I almost had to stand up for a second. I was like, oh my gosh. Is it like, I don't know.
No, I totally believe that because
I've never felt that way about anyone. Like, I just had that experience before. And like one of my neighbors who I spend a lot of time with, she's a twin, and she talks about how she feels things and that whole twin connection. And I'm like, we just keep finding all of these like really crazy similarities between each other, and like our birthdays are so close together.
Yeah.
Like, even though we're, 3 or 4 years apart and a couple days apart, like it's just like something is, I don't know. I think that's.
Oh, no, I can see that too because, well, it's the twin flame thing, where something was one and broke into two.
Yeah.
Like twins.
Yeah.
And we find each other again. Like,
I
heard this concept one time that in the Big Bang, like there's a split of all these different rocks and particles, and then they split again and stuff. And when you meet people, it's because your particles are from the same rock that their particles are from.
That's cool.
So it's like, because some people you're just like, you can't describe vibes with someone.
Right.
Someone could be a perfect person, and there just isn't that union of lockstep,
Yeah, it was such a I felt so like I heard this and I was like, was that me or was that her? I was like, I think it was both of us. I was like, whoa. I was like,
well, and also
weird.
like we think of so many things at the exact same time,
Yeah. I don't know. It's just cool.
I think it's cool too. I do. Another thing I want to mention too is the thing we did that was inhale, exhale.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that felt so much like what we do
with
on
the
our last day of instructor
yes,
school.
and
release.
And I want to call that a dynamic release now.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's almost a warm up for it.
Yeah.
That it's not as intense, but gets the same.
Well, because I think a lot of people struggle with the what is the one we do the
what do we call that? Scoop breath.
Scoop breath. Yeah. I think a lot of people struggle with that scoop breath, and this might feel more.
It reminded me of scoop breath.
Yeah.
It reminded me of the dynamic release. So I was like, okay, that's going to be a great intro to it. So it's like, okay, get ready, everyone who takes class, because we're going to start incorporating these. But it felt really good because we did it right after a real intense flow of postures. So that felt really good to do. And
the way she taught camel was really cool too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I feel like that would be way more accessible to our students.
Yes.
Because we have camel listed as a pose for our, and it's just like, it's such a pose you have to be very careful with, very intentional about how you build up to it. You have to work into it. And there's only been 2 times when I've really been able to get into camel, and that was one in my very first, my 200-hour teacher training, because I had done a 90-minute class that was very specifically building up to camel.
Yeah.
And so I was so open in my shoulders, and I have really tight shoulders.
Me too. I have my shoulders are the worst.
Yeah. And so I can't usually get into camel, and so the way we had the blocks and the blanket like that to bring your feet up. Which I know there's other ways to bring your feet up, but it still doesn't feel accessible. Like that felt so accessible.
Yes.
And I was like, if we were gonna do sometimes we just pull camel out of instructor school because it's so and then to leave it in the parking lot and then do it as just
standalone
Q&A, it's so hard to do and kind of dangerous to just try and do it when you're cold. And when we were at the last one, I was like, Eric, I'm not doing you're gonna have to show it. Can you show it? I can't show it right now. I didn't want to hurt my I'm low back stuff. And I was just so, and the second time was here, and it wasn't a full traditional camel pose, but it felt good. To open the
well, I think I would say it had all the elements of what camel is, but that's the thing about scaling is it still has all the elements to it. And what I liked about it too, which was cool, is starting with your hands on your heels and then pushing your hips forward. I liked pushing my tops of my feet down as a way to get my hips forward. Then it doesn't feel like everything's on your knees to get it up. And if we did it in front of a wall, then you push the hips up till they kiss the wall. You know what I mean? So we definitely are gonna try that.
I like that.
And also opening up the studio space at HQ will allow us to have the 2 lines again too, to face each other. So
that felt really good too. It's not like you're staring at people, but it just does feel good. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just we're all doing it. You're all in the front row. You know what I mean? It's everyone's class. Sometimes when you're in the back corner, I don't know, it's a different experience, but
there's no reason to hide. You can just see it. It's okay.
Yeah. So it just reminded me, like, I always say too, that everyone needs a teacher, everyone needs to keep practicing, and I just haven't made that a priority for myself. I used to, back in the day, I would wake up and have a practice and read a segment of any yoga book and kind of like understand it and adopt it and whatever, and I just haven't done that, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to get into my own practice so that I can keep, and by developing YFFR, I don't mean like new things, I mean actually drill down deeper, make it wider almost, like richer, different ways of, and I've gotten into patterns of how I teach and things I say, and it's like, wow, if you get a different way of saying something, people are going to hear it differently.
Well, it's just like, it's so cool how, when we walked into the studio today and met the teacher, she was like, we were talking just very, like, almost within the first 2 or 3 minutes of meeting her, she mentioned things not being separate. And that was like our theme of
the weekend.
So it's the theme of, like, and it's just, that's the thing that we realize, like, we need to take away from this. Like, it's just, it's not separate.
It's like everything is, it's almost hard to really explain it, but it's really like, I don't know. I mean, that's yoga, right? Yoga is union. Yoga is everything. It's all connected. And if you bring your full self to whatever you do, it's going to be full. And also what I liked about her is, how we talk about in instructor school too, like, don't be yoga teacher and you're the same person, right? The same thing. She was the same person from walking into teaching. She also said, fuck, and she said this and that. And it's like, just be real, talk real. And I like that Lacey does that too with TBM. She is not giving any holier than thou vibes. And I just really appreciate authenticity. Like, that's what we're going for with TBM, and that's what, and it's almost like this whole connection, the webbing she's talking about, we're all connected, is like bringing your full self to every day or everything you do instead of a part of yourself. Like, I'm not going to bring a part of myself to YFFR and then be a different part of myself later. I'm going to bring my full self here, my full self to my daughter, all of it. Okay, hi, I'm Olivia. So I've been doing this work coming on to, 5 years now. And the thing that I've discovered, I was journaling about it this morning, and I was like, what is the overall lesson? There's so many things I could list to you right now that I've manifested. Everything from a Peloton at the price that I wanted, a baby, okay, a house that I wanted, $200,000. Like, there are all these things that I've manifested. I could list that for you, but I am my own biggest fan now because of authenticity. I'm gonna cry. But it's rock bottoms and how I look at rock bottoms. A rock bottom brought me TBM. And now when I get triggered or there's a rock bottom, I get excited because I know magic is about to happen. And when I landed here in Austin, one of my biggest manifestations came through. I turned my phone off when I landed on the plane, and it came through. There is magic happening, and I'm feeling it more and more, but honestly, reframing rock bottoms and knowing that it's the catalyst for magic is the biggest thing that I've taken away so far in my lifelong TBM journey. And I really need TBM to have a school for children, because this is where I would like to send my children, to this school. All right.
Hey, before we go, I want to remind you that training your mental and physical health is incredibly important, especially for those working in high-stress jobs like first responders.
And if you're interested in learning more about yoga for first responders, visit yogaforfirstresponders.org for our on-demand training app, online course platform, in-person training, and more.
like this podcast, subscribe, and give us a great review. We are so happy to have you part of the YFFR mission.